Hello, everybody. Hey, nice to see you. So, do you know what's the topic of today? Any
Yes.
idea? Yes, Ginny. So, what it is?
Something visual, but I'm not entirely sure what we're doing. I think maybe we're going to work with the metaphors, maybe, but I could be wrong.
No, not the metaphor. The metaphor is one specific view of the new version of Stormz, but it's very similar to metaphor. And one of the same thing we're going to see is that the pin on image is different from the metaphor view. It's another way, another kind of activities, but they have a big overlap. So it's something we're going to see. So today, um, it's in the series of live Storms tutorial where I create a workshop from scratch in front of your eyes without any prep, just live. And for each one of the live tutorial, I'm trying to focus on one specific feature. And the specific feature that we're going to see today is a new view that is absolutely not something you had in the previous version of Storms. And it's called pin on image because it shows an image. And guess what? You can pin some stuff on this image. Well, the participants can do that. So let me show you. So I'm going to I'm going to share my screen. And right now, I'm on my getting started page of my personal workspace. I'm gonna show the little yellow, yes, this, so that you can see what I'm showing on the screen. So right now I'm on the personal workspace in the getting started page. You don't have the admin, it's just for me, it's my privilege. And this is where you get all the tutorials and the next events. You see, Kat, get started with Storms, August 18th. This is the one you need
Yep,
to RSVP.
yep. Okay.
All right. And you see that right now we are doing the one with pin on images. And for example, on September, there is the one on a new feature that is called the fill in the gap, where you use cards with gaps like that. Anyway, I'm going to go into one of my team, which is called training and demos. And here I have the list of workshops that I've done for all my live tutorials. And when you want to create a new workshop, you click on New Workshop. So far, so good. In the new Storms, you have two facilitation modes. You have the simple one and you have the expert one. The difference between both is that you have much more features available in the expert mode. But if you are starting, and if you're not like Genie and that the first workshop you're doing is using the advanced features, well, you should use the simple mode. Genie, we had a call just before, and Ginny, she's using the classifications, advanced classifications, multiple classifications at the same time. So she has to use the expert mode. But right now, we can do everything with the simple mode. Continue. And when you create a workshop, you have this little wizard where you can pick the first activity of your workshop. Because in Storms, V3, you have a workshop is made of multiple activities that you chain together. So here we are just creating the first one. And guess what? You have blank presets, and one of the blank presets is called pin an image. And you see that you have a preview, you have an image, and you have little pins on this image. If I choose that, I will have the ability to upload an image and set up what is the main question. I also have ready to facilitate activities where I have nothing to do. And one of these activities is called the mood island. And the question is, where is your mood on the island today? And this is what we're going to launch. So it's one click and it's ready to facilitate. So you can join the workshop either from a phone, but I really suggest, as we are remote, that I'm going to copy the join link. I'm going to close that here, and I'm going to paste my join link in the chat of Zoom right now. So this is my chat of Zoom. And you can click on it. And when you click on it, I'm going to do it on another browser so that you can see the experience of a participant. So here is, I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to do that. So on the right side here is a participant, but this participant has a mobile phone, as you can see. Join as a guest. My fake participant name is always Bob. It's Bob. So Bob is joining the event from a smartphone. So that way you see both the experience from a desktop and from a mobile phone. And the way it works is that I can drag and drop. And here, as a facilitator, I can also participate and I can show by example, say, okay, here my mood is very hot. So I'm on the volcano and I'm going to double click on the volcano. And now I can add a little message of why my mood is hot. It's hot. I'm on the volcano because it's hot. And my business is also super hot. Yeah. And as soon as I click, you see that I have my little avatar that appears on the map. It also appears on the map of Bob. And Bob has a place your pin with double click. Is a little helper, and it can also double click. As it is on mobile, we simplify the interface, and it can add something like test, I am Bob, and create. And cat, if you want, you can add your, oh, there is one here, I guess. Oh, yeah, you already been in the flow today. You got it. That's why you put it in the river. And you can zoom, by the way, and explore the map of participants. You can add as many pin as you want as a participant. So you can really do some complex questioning, right? You don't have to ask them to place one pin somewhere on the image. You can ask them to place multiple pins on the image. And we're going to see that there are some use cases that works great where you can put one pin, and some use cases that are great where you ask them to put multiple pins. Cat, Genie, so far so good? Yep.
Well, I was trying to do this at the same time as you, and I think that means I got a little lost.
Ah ha ha. This is something I always say, do not try to do it at the same time as me.
Right.
It's better to be focused on my screen and then try to repeat it just
Bad
after the call.
student. Bad student.
Yes, yes. Genie.
Okay, so can you put
Yep.
up that QR code again?
No, but in the Zoom, in the chat of Zoom, you can
Got
click
it.
on the link and you're going to be able to join.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to wait for Jeannie to come in. And by the way, I have my list of participants here. You can see that there is Bob, there is Kat, and we are still waiting for Jeannie to join us. Are you good, Jeannie?
Yeah, I've joined.
Oh, you've joined, so maybe I just need a little
Connection
refresh. Oh, yeah, I can see you now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, there I am.
Yeah. So double click so that they don't, before it was one click. I don't know. Well, neither of you know that because you didn't test it before, but before it was one click. But the problem with one click is that you could do it without wanting it. So you have to explain the double click to your participants because it's not totally obvious. Okay, so this is the first activity that we have in our workshop. You see that I can add new activities. As I told you, I see that Kat is also in the lighthouse. I can see that Jeannie is exploring and using the bridge, and she's also on the slope. Ah, no, that's Bob. By the way, since the first workshop, a first tutorial, one of the feedback was that the avatar had some real color skin, and I've changed that so that the color skin are not realistic. So they take each participant is color coded. For example, Bob is purple, Cat is orange, and Jeannie, she's another type of blue, and the avatar is a variant of that color. Okay, so when you are on an activity, you can do a number of stuff. One of the things that you can do is change the view. And this is where you've got all the settings. So I'm going to put that in big. And let me show you. So right now, the view that is selected is image pin, which is the focus of today's webinar. And you see that the default pin look is avatar. So the pin is an avatar. I can change that so that instead of an avatar, and I need to apply. So right now I change it and I can see it myself, okay? But you on your screen, it hasn't changed yet because in Stormz, it was the same in the V2. So Jeannie, you are very aware of that. In Stormz, as a facilitator, you can change the settings to explore stuff without modifying the screen of the participants. But when you want to synchronize, so here, let's say I want to synchronize with you, and I'm going to show you with Bob. So Bob right now is on an avatar, but I'm going to click on apply. And now Bob also has the pin. All right. So that's the first thing. So I go back to change view, default pin. So right now, the other thing is double click action. When you double click, it gives you the opportunity to add a sticky, which enables sophisticated activities. But sometimes you want something simpler. You just want people to put a pin without adding some text. And I finish that, and Jeannie, I'm going to answer your question. So here, I'm going to change it, double-click action, place a quick pin, apply. And now, if I double-click, I'm just adding a pin, okay? Obviously, this works better for questions where you want to show the avatar, right? Where are you today? And you would show the avatar, so it would work better with change view default look avatar. You see, and when I double click, I just add my avatar somewhere and my avatar somewhere. Okay. So all these settings are at your disposal for you as a workshop designer to invent. You have plenty of different activities that you can invent. Last setting that I want to show, the background image, of course. So you have a small number of background image by default, generated by AI. Some of them, just like here, the mood island. Notice also that the ratio of the image, you can play on that depending on if your participants use a mobile phone or not. Okay. This one is mobile friendly. Here you have another variation of the landscape, but this time on a sci-fi theme. Here you have a kind of roadmap. Here you have a village. So the sky is the limit. You can really invent both a combination of what type of image and what type of question and what type of pin, and do I show a card or not a card? You can invent a lot of different activities. And I just want to say hello to Judith. You have joined us. Hello. We are in the middle of showing this pin on image activity. Of course, you can upload your own image, and we're going to see that in the different examples that I've prepared today to show you plenty of different use cases of this activity. But first, Jeannie, I think you have a question.
Yeah, my question is when you double click, when you had the option where it's not just place the quick pin, but it's add a sticky note, right?
Yeah, add a sticky, create a
Create
card.
card with details.
Yeah.
And then so when you double click, my question was, is that text inside there editable? Can we edit what shows up in that? Or is that no, I mean not the participant. I mean as the facilitator, can I edit what participants are going to see as the gray text in that card?
Oh, yeah. So this here is related to the question.
Mm.
You see, it's the same that is here.
Oh, it's exactly the same as the instructions. Okay, got it.
Edit question. Okay, so where is your mood on the island today? Right now, this is an activity with a single question. Um, and if you edit the detail, you see that where is your mood? Mood, double click on the location.
Got it.
And if you want, you can just put nada,
Hmm.
save.
Got it.
And then it's just the main question that appears.
Awesome.
Um, so do you have, before I go into showing you different ways of designing activities with this feature, can you, do you have any question? Any things that you really want me to answer right now? Pressing questions? Nope. All right. All right. So let me show you. I have some notes, which is rare. I never prepare anything normally. But the problem is when I have some notes on my phone, because I'm old, so I have to remove my glasses. All right. So we've done the basics, create a pin on image activity. All right. First example, a fun one. Okay. A fun one. So what I'm going to do is that we're going to keep this activity as it is. And maybe I'm going to get back to the initial picture. Okay. Who's that? Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, Judith. If you want to participate, here is the link. Okay. So we're going to add a new pin on image activity, but this time, let me show you. So I click on add activity. And this time, instead of picking the preset where everything is done for us, we're going to do the blank preset. So pin on image. So this is the preset where we know that we're going to use this view. But when I click on next, now you can ask your question. Okay. So my question is going to be, are you more this or that? Question. Oh, sorry. This one. Next. Then we can upload an image. So I have a book. I don't know if you know this book. If you don't know it, I love it. Let me get back. Not this one. It's called Two Kinds of People. Do you know this one? Do you know Two Kinds of People? You know it? All right. So are you more, I don't even know the name in English of this stuff. This or that? Milk or homemade cake or instant cake mix? Um, uh, do you put your words like, do you name your files like that or like that, etc., etc. So plenty of fun. This or are you this or that? I like this one too. Okay, so let me pick one that I like a lot. Yeah, shower or bath. Okay, this one is good. So I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna just need to remove the mouse. Yeah, I'm gonna just take a screenshot of the page. Voila. And I'm gonna get back to Stormz. Custom image, I'm going to do into my screenshots and take this one. Et voilà, I have my preview and I can launch the activity now. So normally, if we look at Bob, where is Bob? Bob is here, and you see that, yes, he has, obviously, this image is absolutely not optimized for someone who is on a mobile phone. But anyway, you get the idea. So this one, I'm not going to, don't put something right now because I want to design it differently. This one is very simple. Okay, I'm not going to ask people to double click and write down a post-it note on why they love bath or why they love showers. So this is the perfect example. So change view. I have the view settings, and here default pin look avatar because we want it to be personalized, and place a quick pin and apply. And now we can really do something where, okay, personally, I'm totally shower and I just paste my pin and you can see all the avatars from everybody. Okay. So you would prepare that in advance. You could have 3 or 4 different this or that images. Okay. And you go quickly from one to the other. And by the way, just now I click on launch activities. You see that I have my playlist. I can get back to my mood island. I can get back to the are you more this or that. I can just duplicate it. Take my Kindle again. Find another one. Open glasses or air conditioning. There is a culture war currently on air conditioning between the US and Europe. And so I'm going to move to the second one. And I just have to change the view, upload, select the new one. Voila. And now you see that, by the way, if I click, I have a full playlist. If I just hover, I can go back one step. And there is a bug. Oh, there is a bug. That's funny. You see the bug? It didn't change the image.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So this works, but this doesn't work. Okay. Did I upload it for real? Or maybe I didn't apply. Let me check. Maybe the bug is me. Apply. I think the bug is me.
Yes, it's working.
Yeah. Yes, because when you change the view, as I told you, until you click apply, it doesn't save it. It's only visible on your side. So if you really want to be saved and synchronized, you need to click on apply. So that was my fault. I prefer that.
Quick question. Can
Yeah.
you limit how many pins people can put?
Nope.
Okay.
Not now.
Okay.
But you know that not now means that I might take that into consideration, but because it's not only for this activity, but for any Stormz activity, that could be interesting to say don't put more than 3 or 1 or 2.
Mhm.
Even if my stance on that was always just tell the participants.
Right.
And most of the time they don't put 3 pins if you ask only 1.
Mhm.
Speaking of that, by the way, this is one of the few activities where you cannot participate from the Zoom chat, right? There is no way, so Kat, you don't know that, but there's a really cool feature that you can do everything from the Zoom chat. You can add ideas, answer surveys, poll, etc. from the chat. But obviously here, it's nearly impossible. Well, I could do it with AI. I have that in mind, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. So this is one of the few activities where people have to log onto the app, even if it's very fast. Okay, so that's that. You see that you can have a series of this or that, and it can make a fun icebreaker or energizer at some point in your workshop or training. You can do a this and that is a little bit more serious, by the way. It doesn't have to be totally weird and fun images like that. It can be two different packages for the new product and this one or this one, and it would work the same. It's a kind of voting. All right. So far, so good. Okay. Another one. Yes. Another one. I don't know if you remember, but there is an activity where with a map. So I'm going to show you. I'm from my playlist and I can add an activity directly from my playlist. And I'm going to put a ready to facilitate activity. Where are you from? And I'm going to insert it in the end of my playlist. Add now. And I'm going to launch it. So this one is you click on the plus button and you say, I am from Paris. And automatically it extracts the location and put it on the map. Okay. This one, by the way, works from the Zoom chat. Very quickly, just to show how easy it is to set up the Zoom chat. I have my Zoom participant list, invite. In the invite, there is a way to copy the invite link. Sorry, it is in French, but it's good now. You know a little bit of French. And now that I have my link, I can click on Manage Meeting Bot, paste the link, start bot, and then in my list of participants, here in the waiting room, salle d'attente in French, I admit my Stormz assistant, and you see that it's going to be green, a couple of secs. Voila. And now, Kat, because you've never used it, where are you from? Put it in the chat, directly in the Zoom chat. Oh, look at that. And Judith, Frankfurt, Toronto, boom. Okay, so this is the map activity, really cool. And as an aside, look at that. How does it work? It works not because magic, not because something is hard coded for this activity. No, it's just that we have this AI and automation panel. And in this automation panel, when a card is created, you can assign and link some actions. And here, when a card is created, we have a look if there is a location in the text. And if there is, we send it to a geocoding service, and we extract the location, put the GPS coordinate, and display it on the map. Okay, so this is what is done. And you can have some other automations, by the way, but it's not the focus of today. So the problem with this map is that you don't have the choice of the map. You have this dotted map view. Also, it shows the world map. What if I wanted to do something a bit more fun? For example, if I want to ask you about French cheese. Well, let's do that. French cheese. Okay, I have a beautiful picture of French cheese found on the internet. I take a screenshot of it. I go back, sorry, here. I'm going to add, so I have my map activity. I'm going to add a new activity, pin on image. Next, my question is, uh, your, which of these would you like to taste? All right, I'm going to add that at the end. Next, custom image. I'm going to find my cheese map, create activity. And right now I am still on the image. So now I need to launch the next one. Et voila. So I'm going to tell you that one of my favorites one is, yeah, I really like Forme d'Ambert. Oh, again, this is one that is more for, should be more just a place a quick pin. Okay, so Forme d'Ambert is very good. But I have to tell you, I love Brie and Camembert. And I like also the Port Salut. And I like also Irati. And the Roquefort is so good. Oh, oh my God, this one. And Roblochon, I love it too. Voilà. So if the map activity doesn't please you because of the look and feel of the map, you can have this one in place. But of course, you lose the fact that it automatically extracts the location from it. Okay, so you cannot use the Zoom chat, for example. That's one of the downside of it. The upside is that you can put any picture. The upside is that no, the upside is that you can put any picture, and the downside is that you don't have this automatic location extract, and you cannot use the Zoom chat for it. So location activities. Here I show you a fun example, but everything related to location, you could show a room. The island activity that we had at the beginning is also a location activity. Okay, where are you on this map? Okay, so it can be a map of a village, it can be a map of France, it can be a treasure map, can be anything that when you design your activities, think of it as one of your possibilities, locating people on a map. Also, when you use maps, it could be where do you live, which project have you done in which cities. So again, you can also be creative in the type of questioning that you ask. And again, also don't forget that some activities you ask for only one pin, where do you live now? There is only one pin, right? And which cheese do you love? Multiple pins. So a lot of design possibilities for you. All right. But I've got more possibilities. Yes. Okay, let's get serious now. What about using it? So this one is going to be very serious, and we're going to go one step further in the complexity, okay? We're going to use advanced features on this one. What if I wanted you to give me some feedback on the user interface of Stormz? So I'm going to take a screenshot of the left side of Stormz, which is the facilitator bar and the playlist. I'm going to create a new activity. So add activity, pin an image, next question. What do you like? What? So here it's going to be a multiple question activity. So far we've seen only a single question activity. What do you I'm gonna make it simple. Huh? What do you dislike, and what is what do you don't understand? I'm just making it quickly, and then I'm gonna upload my user interface screenshot. Open. And please don't participate yet because it's not finished. I have to design it. Okay. Launch activity. So with the wizard, I'm doing the first quick settings, but here I want to do more things. So when I'm gonna, so let's say that, for example, um, here, when I see the five, I always think that it means that there are five activities in the playlist, but in fact, it's only it's showing the current active activities. So maybe I don't understand that. So I'm going to add a pin on that. And you see that I have the different questions. What is this question? It shouldn't be there. So I can pick if it is something I like or I dislike. Okay. So in fact, I'm going to edit my questions here. And yeah, I'm not looking the right thing. Add question. So here, short label is like, that's why. And I'm going to remove that. And I want a thumb up. Voila. And it's going to be green. And what you dislike, it's going to be, the short label is going to be dislike. It's going to be a thumb down. And it's going to be red. And here, what do you don't understand? Question. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this. I don't have the time to think, of course. Okay, so now when I double click, you see that I have my stuff that is much more understandable. So when you can give structured feedback, okay? It will be better to show the total number of activities because and I dislike that and I create my card. Okay, and I can reposition it that way. Okay, so you can use it to make feedback on different stuff such as packaging, marketing, advertisement for socials, banners, basically everything that is visual. You could do a collaborative activity on it. You could even show a poster that is maybe the company is going to do some change management and they have a poster that they're going to put on the wall about the new initiative. Well, you can feedback the new initiative that way. Up. Yeah, exactly. Oh no. The where are you today box is in the way of the main image. Okay. Okay. So you got it. Now I want to show you something that you don't have in any other tool of the market. And this is where you're going to get the full benefit of Stormz. What I'm showing you since the beginning, it is just a view. All right. So now look at that. Let's say that you have done your feedback. Change view, Kanban, group by the questions. All right. So in one instant, I'm going from the view where you collect all the ideas to a view where I can see all the ideas. Okay. And here I can change it to this one. I can also put by participants, and I can see all the contribution from Kat, all from Jeannie. Okay. So this is the cool thing, is that the first step might be using the pin on image, but all the steps could use all the views, because behind that, this here is a card. And the card in Stormz can be shown in many different ways, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different ways, and 9 with the metaphor view that we can see here. So I think here we are starting using this the multiple questions. We are start to using the more advanced features of Stormz. But we could go even further. I mean, I can go into expert mode, edit classification, add a classification from preset priority. Okay, so now I'm adding the priority, and when people add a card, I want them to assign a priority. So now look at that. When I double click, not only I need to say if it's a like, a dislike, or a question, but also if the priority of the steps is important or not. Priority high, create card, etc., etc. So basically, it seems like a fancy view, this pin on map. And in all the other tools on the market that does this view, it's a fancy view. You can put pin on an image. In Stormz, it can be part of a huge workshop, a very sophisticated activity. Because then you move on and look at that. Change view. Remember my Kanban? So I can show it by like, dislike. I can show it by priority. And all of these that were unassigned, I can assign them now. And you see, because they were unassigned, right? And now I can assign them. And now that they are all assigned, look at that matrix view, like, dislike, question, high, medium, low. All right. So again, I can go from a view that looks like a gadget, image pin view, but I can move on to a very serious matrix analyzing the position of the cards along 2 different classification axes.
Can you just apply that so we can see what it looks like on our participant screen, please? Thank you.
And bravo, you knew that you didn't see it because I didn't click on apply. So you immediately understood the stuff. So this is the matrix view. This is the Kanban view using high, medium, low as the main group by. But again, now I can change it. And by the way, I don't even have to open the sidebar, change view, group by, pin on image questions. And look at that. And I can group by pin on image and color by priority. So the color by, the color of the post-it note, contrary to Miro, the color of a post-it note is dynamic. I can change what it means depending on the view. So I know it might sound a little bit overwhelming. I'm showing you so many stuff. But if you had to step back, the idea is to say that this pin on image activity view, it's not an activity, it's a view. Because in the same activity, you can have many different views. Oh, by the way, look, pin on image view, color, you also have the color by. So if I put the default pin and I color by priority or by pin on image, which are the like, dislike questions, and click on apply, now the color of the pin is related to the type of question. So all the red dots are the things that are disliked, all the green dots, etc., etc. So what I want to say is that pin on image, it seems like a fancy gadget view. Okay, and you can absolutely use it that way. This is what I've done, for example, for the this or that. Okay, but you can also then do some more thoughtful activities, such as the one using the mood island, for example, is one because, and I prefer the one with the this one, yeah. The mood island can be an activity asking about what's your mood and what's your expectation, whatever. And then you can do some very complex activities, such as the one that I showed you in the end, where you can ask people to feedback on a picture. And when they double click, they have to not only to give written and qualitative feedback, but also to classify this feedback along one or several axes. So that then you can go further using other views and other steps of your workshop. Judith is gone. Okay. Very quickly, some other stuff you can do. Everything related to axis. So here I'm on PowerPoint or Google Slides, and I'm using Lucy's Canvas. So I know, Kat, you know it and use it. I don't know if you, Jeannie, you know Canvas. It's a visual library by Lucy Agolini. She's a great designer.
Wow.
And she's done this absolutely awesome visual library. So
Wow.
here you see all the framework, but you also have, just let me show you if I show you some people.
Cool.
So yeah, and then if I copy it just to show you, 10,000 illustrations.
Amazing.
Okay. I use it in my I Love Cards application. There is an integration. There is no integration in Stormz because it's not as obvious. But for this one, you can design your images. And for example, this one, or you can design a timeline. So axis with quadrants, you can have one axis, two axis. The target, which is a typical, are we more in the center or not? The timeline, and another type of scale. All of that using Canvas illustrations. You just have again to take a screenshot and create the activity in Storms. Again, you can add some classification. Okay, so here it won't be classified automatically. Yes, she sells the images. So maybe Kat, can you give Jeannie the link? So if you buy the full pack, I think it's something like 300 euros. But given the number of illustrations, that's really a good price.
Yeah.
And the quality. Yeah, you have the quantity and the quality, so which in this era of AI created illustrations, that's great. So so yeah, that's the other use case that I wanted to tell you about, scales and quadrants. And again, you can ask them to position themselves on the scale or position an idea on the scale. Okay. Different design possibilities as a workshop designer and facilitator. And finally, I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, Kat, she has a customer empathy map framework, I think. Let me check empathy. Yep. Copy. Gonna add a new slide. Voilà. Or I could use my Kindle again and business model generation. I had prepared that. Top. I like this one because it has already the label and I don't have the time to recreate the label with the one from Lucy. Take a screenshot. Okay, so follow me. We're going to create it from scratch, but we're going to use ChatGPT. Okay, and you're going to see, oh, by the way, I have repaired the MCP connector for ChatGPT. It was broken, not by my fault, but by the fault of OpenAI. But now it's back on track, so it works. So I have my MCP connector that is connected to ChatGPT, and I can see that. I do @Stormz, not slash. Do you have access to my workshops in test and training? I think that's the name of my workspace. Let me double check. Training and demos. Training and demos. So here, ChatGPT is going to check if the Stormz connector is available. It's listing all what's called the tenants that are in fact my different workspace. Remember, the workspace are all of these. Yes, I can access training and demos. 15 workshop, latest was updated today at right now. Okay. I want you to add a new activity in the end using that framework. And I'm so lazy that I just paste my customer empathy map. Create the activity with these questions, with all metadata, icon, short name, etc. Also add a classification. What could we add as a classification? Yeah. No, we're going to do that by hand because it's easy. So you're lazy. You just send the instruction to ChatGPT to create the activity in Stormz in your workshop. Voilà. I turn the 6 framework areas into participant questions with contains labels, description, icons, and colors, and I'll configure and validate the view. The activity shell, which is the core of the activity, is at position 6. So this one here, you see that we already have the activity. I'm adding the remaining 5 sections and then applying a framework style grouped layout. Voila. Let's have a look. So just refreshing just in case. Think, feel, hear, see, say, do, pain, gain. Okay. If you want to have a look, I can change the view and put it in Kanban view. Apply. So you see, we have our customer empathy map. And now what I can do is change the view to image pin, custom image, screenshot, open. Okay, if I double click, so this is the thing. Here, contrary to, this is where we're going to see, Ginny, the difference with the metaphor activities, right? In a pin on image activity, I can put the image, but when they double click, they have the type customer think, wow, Stormz is so cool. And they have to indicate if it's a think or feel, okay? That way, not only you have the pin, but also if I get back to the Kanban view, I have it in the right column, okay? And then if you want to add more classification, you can do it, edit classification, add from a preset. Maybe I want to add a ownership. Oh, by the way, ownership is very similar to what you wanted to have, Ginny. Save classification. And I want participants to add it when they add a card. And now, so I'm going to get back to my view image pin. Now, when I add a card here, not only I have to save a question, so here, but also is it something about me? Well, doesn't make a lot of sense for a customer empathy map, sorry, but just to show you that you can add as many classification as you want. And by the way, you can move it. I don't know if you've seen that. You can move the pin the way you want. Let me show you the difference with the metaphor view. So the metaphor view is an experimental view in Stormz Z3 in the sense that you cannot add your own metaphors currently. Soon, in the next 2 months, you're going to be able, but right now, you can only use the pre-made metaphor activities. So let me show you the difference. Add activity. So as it is a pre-made one, it's only in ready to facilitate. And one of them is, for example, the space journey. Launch. So this is the metaphor activity. The difference between the pin on map is that each activity has predefined zones. When I click on a zone, I don't add a pin, okay? I add a card directly into the zone, which is asteroid fields here, or the crew rocket, or the energy corridor. Add a card, and I have the best ever clients. Great card. Soon there will be a studio to enable you not only to upload an image, create these little zones, and position the different plus button. But right now you cannot, so only me can add some new metaphors. So you see the difference is that there is no little pins, and here it automatically know in which zone you're adding the stuff. If I click on the plus button, automatically launch zone is selected. I just love this. This is one of my favorite activity in Stormz right now. So this was one of your questions, Ginny, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So now you really see the difference. There is a big overlap, but I'm going to keep, even when there will be the Metaphor Studio, I'm going to keep both because they have some.
And are they both mobile friendly?
Absolutely, madam. Absolutely. Look at that. Where is Bob? Bob is here. Up. More than mobile friendly. Very optimized for it. Great. Now I can see everything. I can remove the panel. I can unzoom. View the card from others. Add my own card directly by clicking the plus button. And if I have laptop, of course. What's that? What is that? When I resized, there was a weird little stuff on resize. Anyway, so that's the idea. And it's 5 past the hour, so that's a perfect time to end the different demos. So I just want to recap. So here, what we saw was not a type of activity. It was a type of view. In any other tool, they would call that an activity. Here, it might be just one part of the activity where you show the pins on the images, right? We saw that we could use images of locations and place people on these different locations. We could use as a kind of fun voting system, a little bit like voting with your foot in the open space technology metaphor. You vote by placing your avatar. Less fun. You don't have the movement, the physical movement, but you have the visual spatial representation, and it adds to it. Because this, by the way, this or that, I could have done it with a poll. By the way, let's ask ChatGPT, add a poll in second position, shower or bath, because I'm too lazy to do it myself. So I just ask ChatGPT to do it. Yeah, single choice, shower or bath. Maybe you cannot put it directly in position 2. Position 8. Yeah, it's okay. It's here. Look at that. So that would be the alternative. But it's less fun, right? By the way, you can test cat, press A or B on the keyboard, on the Zoom chat. Yes. And for example, Genie, you can do it too. And I am definitely showered. I just hate staying in a bath. Okay. So yeah, you have, again, Stormz gives you a lot of tools to design activities for your workshops. You pick the one you prefer. You have overlaps, but it really depends on, this one is easier, quicker. Okay, so if you really don't have time, don't want to explain A, B, that's easy. If you have a little bit more time to explain, you double click and people have access. Where is it, by the way? Yeah, it was this one. A little bit more time to debrief, to show. It depends on the context. You would use this one. And alternatively, you could show this on a PowerPoint presentation and have the quick poll on Stormz on the side. So you can use it to poll participants. You can use it with scales, different types of visual scales, and very quickly. You can use it for much more complex prototyping, feedback on visual stuff. And you can use it as framework, but then it's going to overlap a little bit more with the currently experimental, but soon to be available to everyone, the metaphor view. Voilà.
Amazing.
Do you like it, Ginny?
Very much. Makes me more excited to facilitate again. I was losing some of my steam.
Well, that would be an absolute victory if Stormz can give you additional motivation. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. This is really great, especially for online workshops.
Yeah. Yeah. or large group workshops when you need to collect stuff.
Mhm.
Well, the pin on image, I would use less in person. But the metaphor view is great also in person. Even though I think if I would be in person, especially with mobile phone, I would definitely go directly uh, to the simplest view, which is the card wall. But now, if you click on add, you can still select the zones and all
Mm.
the different stuff. So you have a very simple streamlined view with only one big button, but when they add the sticky, it's already classified.
Nice.
This is what we did with Meriem. She's a French facilitator. She did a workshop with 120 persons on a smartphone. And they had a simple question, but multiple classification axes. And they were, in different marketplace in the room, going from one marketplace to the other and collecting the feedback on Stormz thanks to that. So which marketplace I was on, is it an idea, is it an action, blah, blah, blah. And you collect all of that on the go.
Very nice.
Kat, it might have been a little bit overwhelming for a first. No? Okay.
I'm fairly tech savvy, so yeah, and like I've used other tools, so it's nice to see it all in one. You've made
Yeah,
it really easy, as I would expect from you. So that's really useful. Thank you.
I think that it's the simplest tool that that can do sophisticated stuff on the market. It was already the case with V2, but it's even more the case now. As long as you don't need a very complex, it's not a whiteboard. It's an alternative to whiteboard. If
Mm.
you need a whiteboard, it's not Stormz, but it can do stuff that no whiteboard can do, especially that the view is dynamic. That's the big difference.
Yeah, that's huge.
Hmm. Okay, so if you don't have further question, we can call it a day. Well, a day in France, we can call it a day. Not in Toronto.
Yeah, thank you. This was really helpful. I'm going to try to join the one in September again.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. You're more than welcome. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Alex.
Kat.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.